Okay. I think I can handle it. Oh, goodness. Everything's connected in my mind, so it's hard to discern where to start. Since I've been young, maybe I won't start down that path. Let's see, what's a different way to approach it? I have a sensation of a very great discord between where humans are and how we live with the world around us, the nature as it is. Words I don't think really adequately describe how we fit into our surroundings. And I just feel like there's a place where we could, I see where we are right now and where we could be, and it's that discord, the distance between them that causes me a lot of discomfort.
Not true. And you're really going to like this. It isn't the discord between how it is and how you want it to be that's causing your problem. It's the discord between the dream that you've dreamed and the vibration that you're holding. That's big, if you can hear that.
Can you say it again? Slowly.
We'll give it to you in a little bit different way, and then we'll come back and give it to you that way again. It's your own vibrational discord that you always feel. So, as you look at the world and you see things you don't want to see, it causes you to offer rockets of desire about the improved way of life on the planet. And the source within you rides those rockets and holds that vision. But when you look back at how it is, you're not a match to the vision that you have given birth to. And so it's your own vibrational discord that equals your uneasiness, not what's happening in the world. And you see, now we know that anyone could look around the world and see unwanted things. There are a lot of people, we said this earlier, who are living very conditional love, where you see a condition that pleases you and you say, I vote for that. But then you see a condition that does not please you and you say, I would vote against that. And we say, if your happiness depends on those conditions changing, then you will never feel joyful. You have to accept that you can control the way you feel by holding to your vision, and if enough of you do that, in your time-space reality, the changes begin to take place. When life causes you to give birth to a desire, let's put this in even more strong terms. When the contrast that you are living causes you to birth an idea, this time-space reality has the wherewithal to fulfill it. But when you don't flow in the direction of it, you feel bad because you are forsaking your own vision.
Okay, so I think I totally am trying to live that in my life.
You see, Jerry and Esther, they for a few hours that first day, Esther is pretty sure that she would have rather those people just behave themselves. If they would just act the way she thinks they should, she would have had no problem in the world. But
my happiness does not derive from outside conditions. My happiness is a choice it is a choice. It's something that I have control over, because if I wait for other things to be in a certain condition, then I will never have happiness. I think
So we don't have to talk about this anymore because you just solved your own situation.
Well, I think that it's deeper than just that, though. Because,
no, it isn't.
Well, let me articulate what
we'll listen to you, but it's not deeper than that.
Okay. I think the simplicity of the answer is hard for me because of how I have to apply it. I think that for me...
But it's the right answer.
It is the right answer. It's completely the right answer. I think the problem that I'm coming up against is that I want it's not so much conditions in my own life that I want to change, although I see that there is a path for me in that. It's that I want for the world to be in a different place than it is.
We know, but listen. I want the world to be different than it is. Whether it's your roommate that you can't control, or whether it's the service department, or whether it is the ecology of your planet, or your government, or the terrorists. It doesn't matter who it is that you think needs to behave differently so that you can feel better. As long as their change in behavior is necessary before you can feel better, you still have split energy, and it's the split energy that is what you're feeling, not the
but I don't want so much for my own happiness. I don't man, I'm just having a hard time. I see that the world could be in such a better place, not for my own well-being or
Well, you don't have to explain why you want the world to be better. You were born to help the world be better. And your moving around in a world that feels not so good is the platform that causes you to give birth to those dreams. And future generations will benefit from it. We just think it would be nice if you don't have to croak before you come into alignment with your own vision.
I would much, that would be the best thing ever. Although croaking does sound like a joyful experience.
The thing that we're saying that is a little difficult for you to hear is, and you don't mean for it to be this way, but it is for most. We know you would feel better. What you want to say is, so I have a vision, and if I could just do something to cause my vision to be taken seriously, and the legislation and the steps to be made, I know that I have the thoughts that could make this world go better. And if people would just listen, it would go better. And we aren't disagreeing with any of that. We're just saying you can't rally any of that kind of convergence or agreement until you come into alignment anyway. It's the age-old disruption that so many people feel when they say, if I could get over there, I would feel better. And we say, well, feel better, and then you'll get over there. And they say, no, I can't feel better until I am over there. And we say, then you can't get over there. And they say, but I would feel so much better if I were over there. And we say, well, what's it like over there? And they say, I don't know, I'm over here. And we say, well, try to conjure the feeling of over there. And you say, that's my point. I'm over here where it doesn't feel good. And we say, yes, but mentally, vibrationally, get over there where it feels better. And then when you feel better, you have accomplished the vibration, and then it will be better, you see. Now, before you go further...
I don't have a lot of questions, so I just wanted to... something you're saying is making me think about something I wrote down, so
we want to give you another analogy that it feels off the track a little bit, but it isn't. And when you hear it applied to something else, you'll be able to hear it maybe more easily. So someone says, I was in love with someone who died. And now I don't feel good anymore because they're gone. And we say, well, you're not missing them. You're missing the way you felt when you were with them. They were a catalyst to your connection, and it's your connection you're missing, not them. A little hard to hear, but it's the same subject. It's your connection you're missing, not the improved world. And when you are able to find the connection with things as they are, then you become powerfully influential about an improved world.
I was concentrating on the feeling of sunlight through the trees. Like, that's the connection that I feel like to the natural world. Like, I can only imagine is only like a fraction of what it is to like truly be connected with, the energy that makes up all of us. And that connection and the strength of that feeling is the place that I want to come from, because that's what I want to share with other people as a motivating, realizing that feeling it's really powerful, and I want that for other people, because I know that we can feel so isolated and alone, and getting to a place where we realize that we aren't alone, and that the world that we live in is part of us and that we are part of that world as a motivating factor.
Let's take that motivating factor even further. Let's remind you that the well-being of this planet is so dominant that it is surprising to us that any of you could fixate on a pocket where it is not being allowed for a moment and let that get you carried away. Let's focus upon the idea that the orchestration of this planet is taking place from this broader perspective, that as you all bang around and ask for things of improvement, that it's from that place of improvement that new energies are coming forth. Your planet is not getting worse, it's getting better. The contrast of your planet is becoming more stark, but at the upshot of all of that is an improved environment. The population of your planet is controlled from that broader perspective of well-being. Your planet will always be in balance in that sense, you see. And so when Esther saw a little piece of a documentary the other night that was unsettling in nature, and a lot of people are giving a lot of attention to it. And we said to her, those kinds of documentaries are not wrong. They're all part of step one. In other words, you get masses of people watching those contrasting things where they really know what they don't want. It's putting all kinds of wonderful things in vibrational escrow. And so the whole planet could be up in arms about things that seem to be going wrong, but in that up in armsness, you are asking for improvement, and every bit of that is being received by broader perspective and held there in vibrational escrow for you. The only question is, how much time has to pass before you as an individual get to live the well-being that the contrast has caused you to ask for? And the answer to that is as individual as you are. In other words, in the moment that you make peace and reach for the evidence of well-being, you begin to experience more and more evidence of it, to the point that you can move around this magnificent planet and you will zig and zag and only rendezvous with evidence of well-being. And someone else that's over there still beating the drum of what's wrong, they'll move around the planet and they'll zig and zag and they'll only rendezvous with what's wrong. And then you'll write your documentaries about this planet, and your documentaries will be so different that people will think you live on two different planets. And we say, vibrationally speaking, you do, don't you?
So something that you said earlier about the specificity or generality of what you're focusing on and how the emotional response that you get from that. When I focus on a clear cut of a forest, that gives me a pretty negative response. But if I think about forest growing, that gives me a pretty good response. And those are kind of, maybe not two ends of the spectrum, but
focus on a forest fire. How does that feel?
Is it in the U.S.? No. Fire. And if it's allowed to, fire is a part of nature. Fire is a regenerative. I can't talk today. It's renewing. It has a renewing effect. If fire is left to its own ends, it provides a new seedbed for a new forest, because there's certain plants that can only come out of fire. So fire can be a very cleansing thing. If you have a $500 million program to stop forest fires and you carry that out for 40 years, then fire is maybe looked at as an evil thing.
Well, the reason we ask is because we agree with you, it is regenerative in nature, but we want you to understand that the clear cutting can be too. But whether you have the facts to support whether one is good and whether one is bad or not, you are much better off to, if you think that something is bad, to take your attention from it, because you cannot get to the improved world while you've got your attention upon something that is bad. And then people say, well, Abraham, are you asking this person to put their head in the sand and not be an advocate for the well-being of their planet? And we say, no, their head wasn't in the sand when they were exploring the contrast. Their head wasn't in the sand when they knew what they didn't want. Their head wasn't in the sand when they gave birth to what they did want. But now they've given birth to what they did want, beating the drum of what they don't want won't get them what they do want. And so put your head in the sand, yes, and meditate while you got it in there.
Yeah.
In other words, take your attention from the things that make you feel bad. Because when you focus upon the things that you think are going wrong with your planet, the reason that it feels so bad is because you're looking at your planet in a way that your broader perspective does not see it. In other words, your inner being, the source within you, knows the longevity and well-being of this planet. And when you take a piece of it and you focus on it and you use it as your excuse to feel bad, you've activated a vibration that's so far apart from who you really are, that's why you feel bad. And that's the point that we're wanting to make to you. You don't feel bad because your planet's going to hell in a handbasket. You feel bad because you've separated yourself from who you are and all that you want, you see.